Just a quick rundown. We've got 4 young men that are already here. Calvin Barnett is a defensive tackle from Navarro that was at Booker T that we tried to get a couple years ago that we lost on signing day. And we continue to recruit him, let things fall by the wayside and didn't take it personal and worked hard at it, and we were able to get him in this signing class. He's already on campus now. We gave him some extra stadiums after he showed up because the recruiting was over then, and we owed him because he bolted on us on signing day 2 years ago. But we're looking forward to him helping us down inside. Blake Jackson's a tight end from Scottsdale Community College. It's kind of ironic that our training facilities for the Fiesta Bowl was where he went to school, and he's a 6'4", 230-pound inside receiver, tight end who can do both. He ought to be able to put his hand on the ground and block, and then he ought to be able to split out and catch the ball a lot like what Brandon Pettigrew did for us. And Blake is tested out very well. He was 4'6", 8" or something in the 40 and already benching over 300 pounds and really catches the ball. And he's got good movement in the open field, so we're excited about him. Wes Lunt's already here. We've talked about Wes a little bit. He's the quarterback from Illinois that Coach Monken had a relationship with. The people up there, we were able to get in on him, and he's shown up. Seemed like he's acclimating himself really well to our team. He measured out really good, 6'4"-ish, 205. He ran good. His 10-yard movement drills were good. He's bench press is good. Arm span, arm strength, all those things really good. So we're excited about what he brings to the table. And then Jeremiah Tishamanga, a linebacker from in the Dallas area in North Richland Hills, may have been the most impressive guy that we've had come in from a measurement standpoint. He came in at 232 pounds. He verticaled 38 inches. Which is rolling up there pretty good for a guy 230-something pounds. Bench press 325 pounds already, and he should just be in the spring of his high school year. So it gives you an example of the type of players that we're bringing in here. We're very excited about what those guys bring to the table. We had a nice class of Oklahoma guys this year. I've said this many times in the last couple of years that Oklahoma players have been great for us. I think that we're finding that they're not only here at Oklahoma State, but in our league. Guys that are coming out of Oklahoma are doing very well. Some of the big name players that we've had on our team that have produced for us and helped us win all these games the last few years are from Oklahoma. So we're able to pick up 3 guys from Oklahoma. The player of the year from the state of Oklahoma, Kevin Peterson from Wagner, is a defensive back corner, kick returner for us. It was kind of unique how the situation happened. We originally weren't going to take a guy at that position. We only get 85 scholarships. We have to break them down numbers-wise by certain positions to make everything work. Sometimes we don't have a position, but then we have guys on our board that are rated so high that if you get a spot at any time, you need to go after them and take them because they give you an opportunity to win games, and you got to find a way to make the numbers work at a later date. A good example of that is you see an NFL team in the draft maybe take a running back on the 3rd pick, and they didn't need a running back, but that running back's rated so high that they couldn't pass the guy up, and so that's where we felt we had with Kevin. He brings a lot to the table, so we're excited about him being a part of our team. We have a running back from Medill, Moncrief, and a running back is another position that we weren't sure if we were going to take one or not. And so the way the numbers kind of fell late, we ended up with a spot there that we thought he fit what we needed in our offense, and we liked him all along, and Coach Singleton had stayed in touch with him from start to finish, and then we decided that he was a guy that we thought fit in this class the way the numbers worked out. So he's a really good tape for us. We like what he brings to the table. Then Zach Veach is a defensive end tight end from Broken Arrow. That is a throwback to the old days. The biggest issue we'll have in our staff room is the offensive and defensive coaches debating on who gets to have him on their side of the ball, because he loves to play football. He can play tight end. He can play defensive end. We really like him. We feel like he's a sleeper over there. Comes from a good program, finished second in the state this year, so we're really excited about him. Then we were able to sign, I think it was 11, 12, 13 guys maybe from the state of Texas. You know, Texas has been good to us forever. It's a percentage game. There's numbers there. There's approximately 350 players a year down there that sign Division I. So I use the term. I know at times our coaches don't like it, but if you're going to sell vacuum cleaners and there's a bunch of people wanting to sell them, you got to go wherever you can sell them. There's a lot of people in the state of Texas that because of population that can play football at this level, and they're good students. They're well trained. They're well coached. So we go down there, and we've had a lot of luck offensively. On the offensive line side, we picked up guys like Paul Lewis that comes out of North Shore. We've got a number of players from down there. They've been good to us. We picked up Michael Wilson from Aledo. That is really a guy that's got an unbelievable future. He's 6'6", 280 as a senior in high school. I really like the size and the height that we had in this class. We were able to pick up Chris Grisby from, he's from Blinn, but he's a guy that's got 3 years, and it gives us a lot of depth and maturity at that position. And then from a skill standpoint, from the state of Texas, we had Jawan Seals. We were able to pick up Blake Webb. Those are receivers that fit what we do here. We try to evaluate receivers on outside and inside and then make it work. We're not always perfect in that area. Some guys we think maybe inside end up being outside and vice versa. So those guys gave us a lot from a skill standpoint. Dominique Ramaker is an athlete from J.W. Walsh's school in the Denton area. Could be a fullback, could be an H-back, could be maybe grow into a tight end, but comes in very highly regarded from an effort standpoint. So we're really excited about what he brings to the table. At the wideout spot, we brought in C.J. Curry, who's not from Texas. Obviously, he's from Georgia. He's been on our list for a while. Was originally committed to another school, but we were able to get him and hold on to him. A 6'2". I think the other day when he was here, he's about 190 pounds. He can really run. Got a great future. We were able to pick up Brandon Shepard from St. Louis, Missouri. He's another 6 foot, 185, 190 pound. A guy that's going to eventually be a 190-pound receiver. He's got great skill, can make a play in space, can do a lot for us. Blake Webb, which I talked about him earlier, what we feel like is more of an inside receiver guy that will be able to read coverages, adjust, set in the right spot versus zone coverage, and make plays. On the defensive side of the ball, defensive ends were big for us this year, and we were able to hit on some guys that had some height. Jamie Blatnick and Rashedi Jones have been tremendous for us, but they float around that 6'2" height. These guys that we have here are 6'3" or 6'4", and so they're going to end up being 6'4" or 6'5". They'll grow half an inch to an inch during their career here. So I really like the height that we get from Eric Davis and from Emmanuel Ogba and the other young man, I'm looking for his name, Victor Orontski. It's hard for me to pronounce his last name, but those guys give us good height. They're 230-ish, 235, so by the time they've been in Coach Glass's weight program, they'll be 260, 265, so I'm really excited about those guys. I missed Greg Brantley, the offensive lineman from Carthage, who's a giant. He's at 6'6", 320 when he was here the other day. We'll get him in shape and slim him down a little bit. He'll probably end up being 6'6" and a half, and put muscle on and take some of the baby fat off and probably play at 3 1/4. So one other DB, Ashton Lampkin from the Arlington area, is going to play safety for us. He's 5'11", 185 now. Kind of a Markel Martin type of player. Same kind of body structure. Should end up being over 6 foot. Should end up being probably 205 pounds by the time that he's in our system for a year or two. So we're really excited about those guys. I think I've covered everybody. If anybody has any questions, now would be the time to ask them.
Yeah, Mike, considering you signed Jeremiah Tishamonga, have you been in contact with Nike about changing the font size on the names of the back of your jersey?
That's a good call. And you guys, you can tell I'm a little tentative about the pronunciation of these names because it's a little scary. You were good with that one, but yeah, his font size will have to be smaller, no question.
In all seriousness, had a great season, won the Fiesta Bowl, great facilities, but you also got some mileage during the year, the uniforms. And people, a lot of talk about kids want to that attracts kids. Did you see any tangible evidence that the uniforms actually helped you out in recruiting?
Sadly enough, yes. And you know, truthful, you know, recruiting is very entertaining. As a coach, you go in and you get everything lined up, and we talk. I just myself, I may talk 45 minutes in a home and never even mention football, because to me, their development, what they're doing 10 years from now, who they are, their education, all those things, I'm going to be held responsible for more so than anything else. And so you can have a speech ready, and you got to lay everything out, give yourself the best shot when you go in there, and you can go in a home, Barry, and fire it out for about 15 minutes, and you'd be surprised that you know, you could get stopped by a parent and say, hey, are y'all changing your uniforms any next year, or are you going with what you had this year? I mean, it gets brought up not only by the players but by the parents, and so there's no question that it's very attractive. We spent some time in California, I don't know, a week or 10 days ago, and there's a couple, 3 players that we were going after out there, and it was a huge hit out there with those guys. They're fired up about the different uniforms that we wear.